Part 2 of the engine teardown. I already took out these 3 pistons. I'll just show you how I did the last one. I got a right angle pick to pick the circlip out, and you don't want to put any pressure on, very little pressure on it. You don't want to bend it or distort it at all because I don't have any spares. So there's a little groove in every piston that you can get the pick in. You can just kind of roll that circlip out. So I've done those 3, and then luckily these pins aren't in very tight at all. I just use a little 1/4" socket. Whenever you're taking those circlips and pistons and pins, you got to think of which way you want the pin to go, and then if you can get at it with a hammer. So the outside 2 are easy to get at because they're at the top of the stroke, where these ones are at the bottom. So it's easy. I can pop the clip out on the inside and tap it out. Well, these 2 pistons are tight together, so you can't really hammer from the inside. So you pop the clip out on the inside, and it makes it for a lot easier for. It's just a little tap and it comes out. Hardly even have to tap it. So this was the piston with the lower compression. We tap that out the rest of the way. I've already cleaned those ones up, but I'm going to do something different. These pins, I can feel a little ridge right there where the circlip goes on all of them. It would be nice to replace them, but there's no play in them, but I can feel that ridge. Yeah, so here's a piston I've cleaned up. I just taken the wire wheel I have there and just really lightly touch it and take off all the crust on it. That's a before, and there's after. All the burnt edges. But see if you can see. This is where the oil rings are in here. All the black carbon inside. In here, all the black carbon. And there's black carbon inside here too. You want to get that all out. And I'm going to look around for some I might have some broken piston rings up there. It's good if you get a broken piston ring, and then you can scrape it right around the center, and it'll peel that all right out. But I'm thinking I might soak these 4 pistons in my carb cleaner because it eats carbon. And it might just clean that up like new. So I'm thinking about dropping them in there, leaving them in there overnight. The other thing I'm doing too is I'm putting punch marks in the center of the piston right here. I got 3 dots there, cylinder number 3. 1 dot there. And this is the number 1 piston. It's got some weird markings on it from the factory, 31A, and they've all got this kind of stripe in there. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm going to clean this piston up. You got to be really careful taking these rings off. So far I haven't broken any because they're getting older and they're getting thinner. And the thinner they get, the easier they can break. So just going to take them off really carefully. And I always try to look for marks. The piston should have a mark at the top for the top ring, but I just don't see it on these ones. I think it's worn off. But the second ring has an R on it. So I don't want to put that on upside down. And then sometimes they have a different shape, a different profile. But these just look like square rings to me. I don't even see a profile to them. So I've marked it with red ink for the top. Just wipe the oil off it. Sometimes there's a dot or a letter or marking. I just don't see it on this one anywhere. The second ring is marked. The oil ring isn't marked, but the oil ring has wear marks, so you can tell where they go. I'll show you. There's that. Putting pressure here and pressure on the back with my fingers. Really carefully. This is a hard one to get off without breaking it. Hate to break one. I do see there's some on the internet the odd time, but so this one has an R on it. Don't know if you'll see it on the camera, but it's right there. Where's the R is the second ring. These just kind of roll them out carefully like that. But you can see the top of the ring is shiny, and then look at the bottom of the ring. It's all like little stripes on it from the oil ring. Doing here? Show the R on that one goes there. Yeah, R's up. Okay. 4 pins for that. And you can just see how much carbon is inside the rings and the ring grooves. That's got to be all cleaned out, or the rings won't completely close and won't maybe completely open. And even on the inside of the ring in here, there's carbon buildup. I'll show you. I might even soak these in the carb cleaner too. You can see it on the razor blade here. So I might soak these to get that off. Meantime, I'll buff this off. I don't want to damage this the sharp edge here. I just want to lightly go over the center part here and lightly over the edge here to take all that carbon off. Coming off really easy. And that's how I get the carbon off the valves too. And just really lightly this way. I'm going to put 2 punch marks on this one. There's already one mark there, so I'm going to use that one. And put another one below it. Piston 2. I don't know how well you can see in that crack in there, but there's a lot of carbon on that oil ring. There, I think you can see the carbon in there. That's all got to be cleaned out. There's little holes in behind that oil ring, and they get plugged up and cause smoking that way too. Okay. Now the head. I popped out the intake and exhaust valve on number 2 because that was one with the lower compression. I just figured they're leaking at the valves because it still had not bad compression. So I cleaned them up on the wire wheel too, and you can make them like new again. And I'm going to lap these ones back in. There's a little bit of a pitting here, like light pitting, but I think that'll all clean up with fine lapping compound. Get a good seat. And then the exhaust one. Sometimes the exhaust ones are harder to clean up because the carbon gets burnt right into here, and it's often, but these cleaned up pretty easy, not too bad. And it's still got a pretty good seat on here. Not sure how well the camera will pick that up, but a real light pitting in there, but that'll lap right in. Just a light lapping, not too much. So what I'm going to make now is a chunk of cardboard or piece of wood, drill holes in it, and to put the valves all in the proper order. Take them apart, and then I'll measure the springs. I got to rebuild that Harley engine over there, top end. Got to do my V8 Chevy next week, start on that. So I thought I'd make a more permanent board here. It just fits over there. One intake, one exhaust. 2 intake. Two exhaust. Okay, just going to pop the other valves out and clean them all up. That's number 3. One, two, three, 4 piles. 4 piles of 4, 16 keepers. Yep. Oh shit. These valve springs have a little yellow paint on the top. Kyler?
Are you recording?
Just done here. I'm going to put this last valve down right there. That's all 8 of them. What you doing?
Amelia's paying off her ticket. I just got her to drive me to Selena's because the package showed up.
Was Nelia here?
Yeah.
Was she in the house?
She's just grabbing her stuff out of my car.
So you're booking all this Russian stuff? Wood drawers are sticky when they're damp, but I like them. Okay, there's all the valves. We got these 2 cleaned up. I'll work on these other ones, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do with these heads, because I was thinking about bolting them to the cylinders to bead blast them, and look at how they got the little rubber dampers in here, to stop the tinging sound when the bike's running. I got 3 left. There was probably 4 over here too. They're gone. Gonna pull the valve seals out. But yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe not bead blasting, because I don't want to get any sand in here at all. I've done it before. It's just a pain to get that all cleaned out. And I got 1 broken stud off on the intake right there. I gotta try to weld that up and get that sucker out. They were so corroded, all of those. So yeah, I don't know, maybe a really good pressure washing and then paint it. I gotta think about how I'm gonna do that. Just pulling the valve seals out. They're steel seal, they're really good seals. I hope the new ones are like that, but I doubt it. Probably cheap rubber thing. I already got that one out, so I think I got them all out. Yep. Okay, so I think I'll get this in my bar salt bath and degrease it all and try to decarbon it. Get the carbon out of all the combustion chambers. Get it soaking in there. Degrease the whole thing. That's the next step. Wasn't going to do a video today, and my parts aren't going to be until next week now, so I'm just going to finish up this part 2 on this Yamaha Seca engine. But I soaked all 4 of the pistons in here and all the rings. I kind of tied them together with each piston so I know where they go, and hopefully none of them fell apart. I try to get all that carbon off everything, so I decided I'll soak it in the Chem Dip carburetor cleaner, and show you what happened here. I'm just checking this out right now for myself. I'm surprised. I just pulled one out. So I kind of wired the rings together. And it's pretty amazing. I'll be doing this again. Look at where all the carbon was between the in the rings in there. There's nothing. It's clean as a whistle. Unbelievable. You can see that in there. See how clean that is in there? That's crazy. Wow. I'm gonna get a bucket of hot boiling water and soap, and then wash those off. That came out like new. Really good. That worked really good. Okay, so let me get I don't want to get dirty here. Actually, I just had a little surgery on the back of my leg here, so I'm not supposed to get dirty. The back of my leg there, a little lesion cut off. So I can't have a shower for 2 days at least, so bath, I guess. So I don't want to get all greasy and dirty, but I want to get them out of there. That's soaked long enough. So I got to get some hot water and wash those off. Number 1. I got those 2 stuck together. Come on, don't get dirty here. Stuck together. There we go.
think it's good to breathe the vapors either.
Clean the grooves out really good. Have to check the inside of the rings. So that's piston number 2. Number 3. Yeah, that's hot, 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 hot. Number 4. That's that shit right there. My hand's all wet. Come on. There. I'm just gonna blow them off. My compressed air. They're so hot, they're pretty much baked dry now. Okay. You can see better out in the light how clean those came out. I don't know, maybe that'll be too bright. I don't know. But look at that, like I don't even see any carbon in there. Like that's spotless. Maybe a little bit right there, maybe. Yeah, maybe a little bit in that one spot there. I could probably wipe that out, but most of that, especially the oil ring came out really good. Okay, that's about all I can do for today. Those parts aren't going to be in for another week now. It pisses me off. could put these pistons all back on after I flush the bottom end out. That'll be the next step, but I'm not supposed to do anything for two days and here I'm out here. Okay, that's it for today.